the god of the state. And most big corporations right now are so fucked up. You know, all this whole thing about women in charge, women in the glass ceiling, women being the president, that's an Obama thing, man. That's a liberal thing. I'm just here to tell you, throughout history, most women haven't done shit. Most women step into shoes that were made by men. Most women govern institutions that were founded by men. Most women enjoy freedoms that were fought and bled for by men. But now, of course, we're going to have the modified physical Marine chicks out there. I've seen some Marine chicks. Sometimes they're pretty scary. Maybe they'll be good soldiers. Of course, when they're prisoners of war, man, they're going to get brotheled out. And it's going to be such an outrage. Maybe if you're a woman and you're going to join the service with the intention of going into combat, you should consider having your vagina surgically closed. Just a consideration. Because men aren't needed anymore. Men are obsolete. You can get a hair follicle or a sperm. A 50-year-old woman is probably going to be more likely with another 50-year-old woman. Now, I know this is depressing, but there are a lot of lessons that you can learn from this. If you're a man, why don't you evaluate your marriage before it's too late and you're going to pay alimony forever? If you're a 50-year-old woman, you better start learning how to turn on the greatest sex that you can imagine to keep the guy in the game. What are your thoughts? If you're a guy, what do you think about a 50-year-old divorced woman? Are you down with it? Is it something that you look for? If you're a 50-year-old woman and you're out there looking, are you having problems finding a decent guy, or can you only find the younger guys that want sex? What are your thoughts? Thank you very much for listening to my show. This show is available on Spreaker.com, The Rocket Radio Show on Spreaker.com, and of course YouTube at The Rocket Radio Show 1. Hey, you guys, I'm organizing a talk show. I'll let you know with a little short video clip what night it's going to be, and I'd encourage you, if you're a longtime fan, and I know who you are, call in the show. Have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow.
American people need to know we're using techniques within the law to protect them. You said to me, how can we be assured you're doing everything it takes to protect the American people? And I'm saying to you, we're listening to that guy in this country and saying you need to listen to that program.
Welcome to the second half of the show. I just want to add an addendum to today's show. It's very chick-like. I remember when I had to work, when I would have to work with a female partner, they would often talk about their dreams that they had. Guys don't normally do that. I don't normally remember my dreams. I don't have nightmares too much. I don't have disturbed sleep from dreams. But when I wake up later on thinking about. But I've had a dream, and I've had it twice, to the point that I remember every single solitary detail, and I want to share that with you. I don't know if it's maybe a slumber-induced flashback, from the 60s. You get my drift. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's pure fantasy. Maybe it's just my crazy kook right-wing conspiracy mindset. Maybe I'm so saturated in the darkness that my eyes have become adjusted and I'm like a little sightless cave demon, screaming in black voids of nothingness. Anyway, I digress. The dream. Okay. I'll just run through it quick. It's just freaky. Tell me what you think. So I dreamed that my wife and I were standing in line in front of a movie theater. There was a gazillion people to get into the movie, and when I was in the dream, I was kind of confused why we were there. But she was all balls about going inside to see this movie, and we had to wait in line, and it's like I could totally picture it. It was just normal people here, kind of where I live. As we make our way up to the teller, I was like distracted looking around, and then I realized she'd already purchased the tickets, and I didn't know what the movie was going to be. So I figure, my wife doesn't drag me to chick flicks, so I don't know, Spider-Man 4, I wasn't sure. But as I entered the movie theater, there was like a partition in the middle of the room, and it's a lot of people. And so I wasn't expecting it. I expected an open lobby kind of thing, and I just, I guess I was kind of in a daze, because like I said, in the beginning of the dream, I'm sort of confused why I'm there, and then I realized through the flow of traffic, I just got separated from my wife, and she's going off to the left, and I'm going off to the right, okay? So we start walking, and I'm like, what are we doing? And people are going, we're supposed to go this way. And I'm like, okay. So we're walking. Pretty soon it starts getting dark. It starts looking more like concrete, like we're in a goddamn prison or something. I'm starting to get scared. And as we come up to this gate, here's these sailor dudes. Now you gotta understand something. I was in the Navy back when you guys were tiny, or the best part of you had dribbled down your daddy's leg. How's that? I'm trying to be filthy. Got a reputation. But
when I was in the Navy, it was a long time ago, and guys back then wore dungarees. Those are like blue jeans that you see in the movies, and that's what these guys were wearing. They were all squared away. It looked good, they looked normal. And in my heart of hearts, as I saw them, I felt relief. Like, guys that I knew, military guys, doing the right thing. And I was like, And I kind of come up to him like, what's going on? And man, it is definitely looking like a prison at this point.
And I'm starting to be by myself, because you got to kind of file through a narrow opening. And there they are, and I sort of stopped to talk with them. I figured I was going to, I was in the Navy. I could jive with these guys. I felt relaxed and relieved. And they're like, oh, of course, come with us. And I'm like, oh, good. And we start turning, we start going down a hallway. And as I'm walking behind these guys, I look down, and suddenly I realize they're wearing, the regular, what do they call that shit now? The new uniforms. The ones that hide you from sharks. The blue and gray and black uniforms that the new Navy wears. It's actually really just cool looking. It would make you very difficult to see if you fell over the side. But the uniform change was primarily because it covers grease spots. But anyway, when I realized they were in modern tactical gear, and I looked down at the guy's boots, you could see fresh blood on the bottom of their feet. And I was like, whoa. And then as soon as I saw that, I could see this little dog, like a strand, maybe 10 hairs, long, chick blonde hairs, meshed into the side of his boot in the blood, kind of dragging along behind his foot like he doesn't realize it's there. It's so light. And I realized that's from some chick. Where are we going? And right at that time, I looked, there's a doorway. And these guys are walking in front of me, so I bolted to the left and went inside the door and shut the door. And when I
Turned around, there was a bunch of people's fucking clothes, like a lost and found. And I was like, holy shit! and I immediately thinking, okay, I'm having a dream. This is the Holocaust. These are people's clothes. I look, it's all personal. There's underwear and panties and bra and people's pants and jackets and all this shit. There's a window. I go over to the window and I look out the window. What do I see? I see barracks as far as I can see, and there's people walking. They're all wearing like orange-gray uniforms. And I look, and there's one of my friends, Jerry Ray from high school. I haven't seen him forever, but he's aged. He looks appropriate, you know, and he's in line, and he sees me in the window, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, what's going on? And he waves at me like, don't look at me, don't look at me. Weird dream.
Classified information to show how important the information we got from whom we think is the mastermind of the subject they live in.
I don't like this within the law issue. I mean, if in fact there was waterboarding used with the leaching over the viewers, that's basically you strap someone to the board and you make them feel as if they're going to drown. You put them underwater. If that was legal and within the law, why couldn't you do it at Guantanamo? Why'd you have to have this replication around the world?
And then, frankly, there are those who are saying the best thing that can happen to us is to be attacked by somebody. Just bring it on. Unify, legitimize the regime.
At some point, Mr. President, if techniques, these alternative techniques are used, I'm not going to ask you to specifically say that, but if they are used, are you at all concerned that at some point, even if you get results, there's a blurring the lines between ourselves and the people we're trying to protect us against?
Matt, I'm just telling you, what this government has done is to take steps necessary to protect you and your family. You asked me about your family, and you represent a lot of other people. And the best information we can get is from people we take off the battlefield so we can act on it.
I say, if anybody's going to do it,
We ought to do it.